Illinois.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN, Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 a.m. Day before Thanksgiving. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday. This will be our last day of the show for this week, and we'll be back Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Joining us from his palatial palace down on his private island, Mr. Sterling Holmes. Sterling, what's going on with you?
Not much. Just looking at the ocean right now, looking pretty beautiful, and got a little Coca-Cola in my hand. I was trying to make a little afternoon coffee run, and I realized, let's not get too over-caffeinated today.
Joining us in place of while he's out on his vacation is Mr. Steve Walls, the host of the W. You can hear him on this Saturday, 11 o'clock a.m. on 100.1 FM, and, of course, social media platforms. Steve, good afternoon to you.
Hey, what's happening, you guys? I'm like, Sterling is down looking at the ocean. I'm looking out my window, and all I can see is gray clouds. Like, come on, man.
Well, fortunately for us, Sterling will be back in studio on Monday after the holiday break. Of course, before we go further, I want to say that I hope K-State and the athletic basketball program goes to hell right now. But love the students, love the college, but not really feeling the basketball team right now. Now, of course, the big news coming out of today is the fact that the NFL, they have rescheduled or postponed tomorrow night's Steelers-Ravens game that was due to be played on Thursday Night Football on NBC. That game is being pushed back to Sunday due to most of the positive COVID tests that has suffered or that has befallen upon the Baltimore Ravens. Now, of course, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're pretty pissed about this because not only did it wreck your bye week before when you would have taken on the Tennessee Titans, it has now wrecked your mini bye week against the Baltimore Ravens. Steve, I know we were on the Chiefs Zoom earlier. What were your thoughts on this when the news came down that the game was going to be postponed?
I mean, my thoughts were it's going to do nothing but help the Steelers. I mean, they get a couple more days of rest. Now that they understand that their game is going to be moved to Sunday, I mean, they'll probably have today and tomorrow to spend time with their family. So, it's just going to do nothing but help the Steelers and to be able to be prepared for Sunday's game.
Sterling, your thoughts? Of course, the Steelers, I think we all probably, when we do our picks, have the Steelers winning over Baltimore. But, again, I know Steve says that it gives them a couple more days, but Tomlin, his plan was initially, once they got through with the game, to give the players until next Wednesday off. Now, of course, he has to give them Thursday off, and then, of course, they have to, go through their walkthroughs for Sunday's game, and then, then basically just go back to where they're playing each week instead of giving a little mini bye week.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for the players. The players were, they probably had vacation plans set up, and now those are wrench thrown into those plans. But I'm with Steve. It probably helps the Steelers at least a little bit more to get prepared. If you are the Steelers and you're going for the 16-0, you don't want to go up against a Baltimore Ravens having 10 starters gone. I mean, there's not a whole bunch of pride in beating a team with all their starters. So I think that's fair. As far as the fans, it kind of sucks. Used to having 3 games on Thanksgiving. I know I'm a little disappointed. This game was supposed to be about the only good game on Thanksgiving, and now this one's canceled. As a fan, I'm a little upset. But, the NFL is trying to protect the players. They have an obligation to make sure they make this look good. They have an obligation to protect the players themselves. So I think as far as pushing the game back, postponing, at least it makes a lot of sense.
Of course, now looking ahead to Thursday's games, the first game of the afternoon, we got the Deshaun Watson-led Houston Texans. He was just named AFC Player of the Week today, taking on, and they travel to Detroit. And that's going to be, of course, the early game. And, of course, you can watch that game on CBS. Steve, who you got in this game, the Texans or Detroit?
I have Texans. I mean, they played. Deshaun Watson seems like he has a rebirth, of energy just watching him play last week. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
Sterling, how about you?
Well, as I've been saying for a little bit now, he's finally starting to get on the same page with some of his wide receivers like Brandon Cooks, with Will Fuller. I'm going with the Texans. They do look pretty good. The offense is very solid. Besides that 10-point dud or whatever it was against the Browns, they look pretty good recently, so I got to go with the Texans.
The Washington football team, of course, led by Alex Smith, got his first win this past Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. They traveled to Dallas, take on the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys finally got a win after losing 4 games in a row against the Minnesota Vikings. Steve, do they come out of Thanksgiving with the win tomorrow?
I think so. I think they do. They're playing in Dallas?
Yes, the game is in Dallas.
Yeah. It's one of those traditions, holiday traditions. I think a lot of people are expecting this to be a trash game, but Dallas, this game is probably going to end up being one of the better games of the night. So I think Dallas is going to pull it out, and it's going to be a good game.
Sterling, obviously, the Washington football team, they have the number 1 ranked pass defense, and so, obviously the Cowboys are going to be looking to kind of get the ball out in the air. You got Andy Dalton returning like he did last week. Do you see it the same way as Steve does?
I have Washington in this game.
Wow.
I think the front of Washington, they'll put a lot of pressure on Andy Dalton. The Dallas Cowboys offensive line is completely banged up. When you went into this season, you go, okay, they probably have the best offensive line in football with all of the injuries, with everything going on. That offensive line of the Cowboys is probably bottom 5. The Washington strength is their defense, and they are very good. So I think a lot of pressure, as well as stuff in there they have. So I got Washington game.
Woo! Well, you talk about having a split decision. I think I'm at man, Steven. The one thing I told you we talked about earlier: don't pick with your heart when we talking about college basketball. I got the Cowboys winning. Obviously the big joke was Dallas traveled to Washington to kick a field goal. Someone said, well, at least they made it. I got the Cowboys winning. I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, if you're Mike McCarthy, all you have to do is just say, we win this game, we lead the division.
Right.
I like the fact that, they're playing well. Now, granted, both teams are coming off a win. Okay, we get that. But I think this game that they can get after, I think they'll get after Alex Smith. I'm not saying he's going to be, tap dance or anything like that, but I think they'll be able to get some pressure on Alex Smith, and he'll do a lot of dinking and dunking, but I don't see him getting into the end zone this much. I think it's going to be a close game. I think they total under 46 points in the game just because of the defense of the Washington football team, but I do like the Cowboys winning a hard-fought game against the Washington football team. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's Thanksgiving, man. It's one of those traditions, and, guys are going to be ready to go hang out with their family, man. And the Dallas Cowboys, you got to remember, they won a game last week who most people were like, Dallas is done.
Yeah,
no Dak Prescott, exactly. So, and I know what people are saying, Alex Smith, he's coming in, he's been balling. However, Dallas is just going to be too much. It has a new, refreshed energy coming off of that bye week. And the team found a way to win. And once you get in that W column, you all know they can come in bunches. So I think that's why Dallas is going to win tomorrow.
Now, of course, the big game for us here in Kansas City, you have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling down to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs. Of course, the Bucs lost the Monday night game against the Los Angeles Rams. Didn't look good in that, and that loss was one Tom Brady. Now, we talk about all the time about how these two teams, how when you're facing Tom Brady, you can get out and with a front four, but the Chiefs have not been able to get the quarterbacks lately. I think they've had 2 sacks against Carolina, which was spread out, and of course they didn't have any against the Raiders on Sunday. Sterling, I want to start with you. Give me your thoughts on Sunday's game against the Bucs and how you see it playing out.
Well, first, initially, I was considering staying another day and just going to Tampa for the game, but don't think that's going to happen. But I like the Chiefs in this game. Kansas City, their offense is just too good. The defense does worry me a little bit because, like you said, they're not able to get any pressure, and you need to get pressure on Tom Brady. He's starting to find a connection with Antonio Brown. Tom Brady's been very inconsistent this year. He's had a lot of games where you go, wow, this looks like, MVP Tom Brady. And then he's had other games where you go, wow, he is completely washed up. He looks terrible. So I don't know what to expect from him. At the end of the day, I do expect the Kansas City offense, though, to be in control. I expect them to connect on a lot of deep balls, and I expect Travis Kelce to continue on the role that he has been going on this entire season.
Steve, your thoughts on this game?
I'm going with the Chiefs in this game. However, I think it's going to be a close game. And we talked about what was it 2 years ago, Patrick Mahomes and actually just last year, really, Patrick Mahomes getting the torch passed from Tom Brady, and Patrick was getting asked about after they lost that AFC Championship game in 2018. That the conversation between himself and Tom Brady after while they were celebrating headed to the Super Bowl with the Patriots, and he just said he was happy that Tom Brady told him that he was ready, in the way that he carried himself, the way that he carried himself not only on the football field but off the football field. And so this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they're just like Sterling said, they've been really inconsistent. They're really unpredictable, and the fact that you have all these weapons and you are still sometimes an underdog in the game, that should say something, and that the Chiefs definitely still have the better squad, and I feel like they're going to win the game.
Yeah, obviously, inconsistency is something that no one can say that the Tampa Bay Bucs have not suffered from this year. Of course, Tom Brady, we heard from Tyreek and we heard from Patrick earlier today. They both refer to him as the GOAT. I think the key for Kansas City is if you're Patrick Mahomes. One, I got a chance to ask Patrick about Todd Bowles and that defense of theirs, because they can get after the quarterback, but they also take a lot of chances that you would think to yourself, they don't have to, they don't need to make. Now they do have some young corners out there, which kind of works in Kansas City's favor because, they don't put a lot of pressure on the receivers, and then but the other thing is that Tom Brady is not one who's as Patrick. Whether you try to come after him or blitz him or anything like that, he can get out of it. He can run. I do like Kansas City in this game. Of course, this is, as everyone knows, who's been listening to the show, this is my Super Bowl preview. Right now, of course, Tampa Bay going in the wrong direction, so it's not looking good for me right now. Shut up, Steve. But that being said, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're going to, and say it all the time, I mean, you got to keep that offense on the field. And Tom Brady, for the most part, has to be able to dink and dunk to his receivers as well as the running backs. I think to be quite honest, I think Antonio Brown is going to be the X factor in this game if you're Tampa Bay, because of what he can bring to this offense. And we know that Kansas City, defensively, they have not been getting after the quarterback. They haven't been able to really hit the quarterback. Hell, last week against the Raiders, they could even get a penalty for a late hit on the quarterback. So, I think the Chiefs still score 35 points. Tampa Bay, weather, I don't think that, I know that's not going to be a factor, but I think that they'll be, because I don't see Kansas City putting the type of pressure on there, I think this game becomes much more closer than it has any business being. The Chiefs should be blowing teams out left and right, but I see the Chiefs winning overall 35-31 over Tampa Bay on Sunday. Sterling?
Yeah, I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning 31-30. I think it's going to be a very close game, a nail-biter. I do agree it's going to be a problem. Kansas City's not getting pressure. I mean, again, you're paying all this money to Frank Clark, and Chris Jones, and Tyrann Mathieu, and you're not getting much production from them. And I get it. Chris Jones is getting double-teamed a lot, and Frank Clark himself is getting chipped at the line of scrimmage. But at some time, it comes a point where you go, you need to produce. you putting up numbers against bad teams is not justifying this contract and the money. So I'm hoping they come out with a vengeance. I thought they were against the Raiders. That didn't happen. We heard a lot of talk. We heard a lot of, deep with the guys in Kansas City being pitched off and, hearing how they're going to get after Derek Carr. That didn't happen. Is this the week that they, turn it around? I sure am hoping so. I still have a lot of faith in the secondary to turn it around. I still like Travarius Ward. He actually played a very good game last week. Very under the radar, but Travarius Ward played very well. At the end of the day, this Tom Brady, where he's at in his career, I expect him to make a mistake. I expect Kansas City to win, and I think it's going to be Tom Brady making a mistake late. So Kansas City 31, Bucs 30.
And Steve, to his point about making a mistake, I can see, and I see what a mistake's going to be. Bruce Arians, because he likes to throw the ball down the field, he is going to try to, even though it doesn't play to Tom Brady's strength, even though he has the receivers for it, he's been real inaccurate. I know he made the comment this week that, Brady's making these passes in practice, but it's not translating to the game. Well, you're not going all out in practice either, and your players aren't trying to knock his block off. I see Tom Brady obviously trying to push the ball down the field to Mike Evans, and in that respect, I'm predicting an interception by Tyrann Mathieu. Now, you got a chance to ask Tyron Quay on the Zoom. Was it anything to this effect, or what was your questions to Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, today?
Yeah, I mean, just talking to Tyron, and he was, like Sterling said, he was the one that said, hey, I'm after that first Raiders game, pissed off. He hadn't felt this motivated in a long time. But my question is, Chiefs fans, you see these guys, when Chiefs fans say something or mention any one of these players on social media, these guys are in tune with what's going on, and they will respond, especially if you get the retweets and the @ mentions back and forth. These guys are going to respond to you. So you see what the some fans are saying on social media, even some media personalities. And fans and everyone in this Kansas City community, they want these guys to always play perfect. And that's what I asked Tyron, with the ups and downs in the season, is that expectation too high? And also, how do you develop that consistency with the defensive unit? And he said it just takes time. We've had some good games and we'll have some bad games. But the thing that I took from it is the fact that these guys know what they need to do. Like I said, they see it. They see what people are saying about, the offense carrying his team. And that stuff takes a toll on you. But yet and still, I think this is one of those games where they're going to bring the energy and you're going to see it. You're going to see the fact that you guys say that we're not able to do it. All right, we're going to show you. We're going to go up here, down here to Florida and play Tom Brady, and we're going to make it happen. And I think that that's what you'll see in this game.
Well, I wish they'd have brought that same injury last week against the Raiders when they needed to cover the spread by 8 points. But Sterling, to that point now, Stephen Askins mentions on a social media that Tom Brady does not lose back-to-back games. I guess he didn't see the the Saints and the Rams last 2 games or whatever. But that being the case, look, I think we all agree it's going to be a high-scoring game. But how much do you think coaching is going to factor in the Sunday's game?
Yeah, I think coaching is a big factor, and I think you alluded to it a little bit. Bruce Arians like they have to push the ball down the field, and I don't know if Tom Brady has that in his game. We've seen him make some very good throws deep this year. I'll give him credit. His arm strength is not what it once was, but it's not shot. I just don't know if him and the receivers are on the same page consistently. It seems like at least once or twice a game, he tries throwing a deep ball and someone, is running a skinny post instead of a streak. And you're like, where is that ball even thrown to? And so I think that is a problem. Andy Reid knows what Patrick Mahomes is capable of. He knows what his receivers, for the most part, are going to do outside of the Demarcus Robinson interception last week. But Andy Reid is just a better coach than Bruce Arians. There's no debating that. And I think in games when two teams have so many weapons, a lot of times it does come down to coaching. So you've got to give the nod to Andy Reid here.
Steve, one thing that we hadn't mentioned is that Sammy Watkins did return to practice today. Andy Reid said that he had no injuries to announce. So it looks like going into Sunday's game, unless something happens, everybody should be good to go as it relates to, no one's on the COVID list. No one's on the injury report, according to Andy Reid. what can we expect, if anything, from Sammy Watkins' return this Sunday?
Yeah, it's crazy that people have said that Patrick plays and this offense plays a lot better with Sammy being on the field. And I look at the offense and like, well, how is that even possible? But I mean, it's a fact. I mean, when the Sammy just does those things that you don't see, it doesn't show up on the stat line. It doesn't show up in game film. His presence. I mean, he was a former first round draft, right?
Yeah.
Wide receiver. If people have to respect Sammy Watkins, and even though he's not the top guy on the offensive side of the ball, but he still has to be respected. And so when you have that, and now you have Mecole Hardman, who's going to come in healthy, still Travis Kelce, and then Tyreek Hill, and then Demarcus Robinson, and then you look at the running game. I mean, I'm still waiting on Le'Veon Bell to make his presence felt on this Chiefs offense, and I think it's coming.
But to that point, look, I'd love to see Le'Veon Bell do what we all expect him to do, but they're also not going to press Sterling as it relates to trying to feed him the ball, especially when, as Patrick says, they will take what the defense gives them. If the defense kind of, if they look forward to kind of stopping the run, they'll go into the air. Other way around, then they'll focus on running the ball. One of the things I did get a chance to ask Patrick earlier, but I didn't get a chance to mention individually when we talked about Todd Bowles and the defenses. Now, I know, Sterling, you're going to say he might be washed up, but how much of a factor do you think Ndamukong Suh is going to play in this Sunday's game against the Chiefs?
Oh, I think a big factor. I don't think he's washed up.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Ndamukong Suh is washed up. I mean, I think his best years are behind him, kind of in the same instance as Tom Brady, but he's not washed up. I mean, Ndamukong Suh is still a factor. He's still a big dude. He's still a nasty guy. Someone you don't want to hit Patrick Mahomes because you don't know what's going to happen afterwards. But the thing that worries me is he's going up against guys where the weakness of Kansas City lies, and that's the interior offensive line. He's going up against Austin Ryder. That worries me at least a little bit. Again, I don't know why they went away from Kilgore, because Kilgore seemingly was, showing a lot more as far as strength on the offensive line, and then they put Ryder back and they automatically regressed. But that worries me. I'm with you, Darren. That makes me at least a little nervous.
Steve, how about you? I mean, look, he used to be, he was one of the best players, of course, when he played with Detroit. And, I mean, he did help along with Aaron Donald when they were side by side. I mean, we were at that game, I think, in Los Angeles when they played side by side with each other and they led that team to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Your thoughts on Ndamukong Suh and what type of role he can play in Sunday's game?
He's one of those guys that it's kind of like Aaron Donald. If you watch that what was it, Monday night game, when the TV broadcaster was talking about asking Tom Brady if he knows when Aaron Donald is in the game and when he's out of the game. Of course, you ask Patrick Mahomes the same thing. Are you going to know when Ndamukong Suh is in the game and he's out of the game? Of course, you have to know what his presence is, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that are earmarked with this offensive line. If he's in front of you, make sure you doing whatever you need to do that he does not affect Patrick Mahomes. But the thing about it too is that you can blitz Mahomes all you want. He still wants to get out of the pocket and be on the run, so that way he can make a play.
Sterling, Sunday's game is going to feature a kicking matchup. Harrison Butker against former Kansas City Chiefs kicker Ryan Suckup. Does Harrison Butker go perfect on the end Sunday?
Yes, I do. I do. I think those woes are behind him. I think he's figured it out. What was he, 5 of 5 last week? I am back into feeling comfortable when Harrison Butker is kicking an extra point.
Well, that's good to know, because I'm telling you, he can't afford to be missing any when the playoffs start. Before we get out of here, Steve, what's the X factor for Kansas City on Sunday?
Ooh, that's a good question. I saw someone say it in the chat on Facebook, but it has to be make Tom Brady rush to throw the ball. Don't let Tom Brady be in there and be comfortable, because if Brady gets comfortable and he starts connecting passes and he looks like the Tom Brady of old, it's going to be a long day for the Kansas City Chiefs. So that Frank Clark and they're gonna have to draw. Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, is gonna have to draw up some stuff to make sure that they get after Tom Brady.
But now we talked about that. I know you and I talked about it yesterday. We talked about it a little bit on Monday night following this game. Steve Spags, they had it whole week. They never once, got close to Derek Carr on Sunday night. Sterling, I don't know. Maybe it's my concern. Do you see the defense reverting back to Bob Sutton days, according to Steve, or is it just a runoff more or less?
That's a very good question. I don't see it completely reverting back to Bob Sutton days. I think there's too much talent for that to happen.
They had talent then too now.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, Darren, I don't know what's happening. I think it's a lack of pressure is the majority of it, because when you have pressure on a quarterback, that automatically makes your secondary look better, which is why Washington's secondary is the first ranked? Because they get so much pressure on the quarterback. It's the same with Kansas City when, Travarius Ward, Bashad Breeland, L'Jarius Sneed, Rashad Fitton, why you have low-round guys, low draft picks looking so good. It helps when you have a lot of pressure. Of course, it's going to make the secondary look better as a whole. So I think that's a huge factor. I don't think they're reverting back to Bob Sutton days, but to be honest with you, I don't know the problem.
Well, that makes three of us, because I haven't figured it out yet. I mean, and I don't know, maybe a lot of it is want to. Steve, I know we got you winning. I know you got the Chiefs winning, but what was your score in the game?
I think it's gonna be up there. I have the Chiefs winning, of course. Maybe 35-31.
You sounded just like me.
Yeah. The score's gonna be up there, 35-31. But the key too is, and I know Sterling had talked about it a little bit, but the secondary. If you let Tom Brady get back there and you let him start with these guys, Tyrann Mathieu and Daniel Sorensen, those guys have to guard Antonio Brown and Mike Evans for long periods of time. Man, Tom Brady's gonna pick them apart. He's been known to do it. And the defense has to step up. They have to get after the quarterback.
Yeah, and it's going to start with the front, at the line of scrimmage. If the Chiefs do not get pressure on Tom Brady, I mean, this game is not going to get. It could get out of hand.
It can, and you the thing about it too. You have to remember last year there was so much hype and so much build up. Oh, well, this is a champ. We got championship swagger. We got, Ball So Hard University, all that stuff that they talked about last year. You don't see any of that confidence coming this year. You just don't hear it. And maybe it's just because we aren't in the locker room and things like that, but they seem kind of stale, so to speak, if that's a good word for it. But they have to bring back that confidence and make teams fear like, oh, we got Frank Clark. You don't hear Frank Clark talking like he did last year. He always gave bulletin board material, but then he went out and backed it up. And so this year, you haven't heard any of that. And I'm starting to wonder why. Like they're it seems like they're kind of too humble. And you're the champion, and you're sitting here being humble. Come on, we need to hear something coming from you guys. And and it starts at the top with Andy Reid. So we had to.
I will say this before we go to break and before we let you go, Steve, I know you got to go. I think the fact that there will be fans in the game this Sunday in Tampa Bay will kind of help both on the offensive defensive side of the ball for both teams, because now you got something to kind of play off of. So we'll take a quick time out. When we come back, Stu and I will go through the rest of the slate of Sunday games, picking the winners. Keep it locked in. Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City.
Did you know the KC area has been experiencing a blood shortage since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic? In response, the Kansas City Chiefs are teaming up with the Community Blood Center to host a life-saving blood drive now through December 4th. All donors will receive a free Chiefs t-shirt and are asked to wear a mask to their donation. Appointments are strongly encouraged. Visit savealifenow.org to schedule yours today. Come to the Community Blood Drive at Arrowhead Stadium now through December 4th. Make an appointment today at savealifenow.org.
Are you using your backyard as a second living room? Don't let all that space go to waste. Now is the perfect time to have all-weather decks out to design a deck or patio and have it ready for you in early spring. That's right. When the warm weather's back, you're on your deck, patio, screened-in porch. All Weather Decks is a 22-time winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award. Has probably helped out one of your neighbors. Click on the link on All Weather Decks website and give All Weather Decks a call today at 913-206-1974 or go to allweatherdecks.net and relax.
The Turkey Day NFL doubleheader kicks off at 11:30 in Ford Field with the Detroit Lions and Houston Texans on ESPN Kansas City 94.5 FM.
Deshaun going for the end zone, taking people with him across the goal line. Touchdown, Deshaun Watson.
And our NFL doubleheader continues on Sports Radio 810 with Washington and the Dallas Cowboys at 3:30. Your home for the NFL playoffs, and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
When do you think about your insurance? Chances are it's when you're paying your bill or filing a claim. At Briar Payne Mead, we always think about your insurance. It's what we do. Buying a car, having a baby, building a home, starting a business. Then it's time to call BPM at 913-681-099 or visit us on the web at bpminsurance.com. Great service and extremely competitive rates from the top-rated companies. Briar Payne Mead, 913-681-099. That's 913-681-099.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon Agency. This year, I'm proud to be celebrating 25 years in business. Here at Digital Lagoon, we can provide you with a strategic digital marketing strategy. With the implementation of social media, SEO, and online advertising, these programs are proven to improve your website traffic. Let us collaborate with you to structure a plan and cut through the digital noise. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
All right, welcome back to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City. Thanks once again to Mr. Steve Walls. Hope he has a happy Thanksgiving. Sterling, college basketball is tipped off today. Have you gotten any college basketball in?
Not yet. I love college basketball, and I have not. It's a little disappointing because Thanksgiving to me is when college basketball really starts to feel real. Yeah. So I'm disappointed in my Darren.
Well, I will say for those of y'all listening, we will be carrying the KU Gonzaga game tomorrow on our sister station, Sports Radio 810 WHB, with pregame beginning at 11 a.m., of course, so you can hear the game itself in its entirety at 12:30. So, again, tomorrow on Thanksgiving, Sports Radio 810 WHB, and then, of course, we'll be carrying we'll be carrying the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions game here on ESPN Kansas City. So, you want KU, you want NFL, just tune in to 810 or ESPN Kansas City, and we'll fulfill your Thanksgiving needs. Speaking of such, looking at the Sunday game, Sterling, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, we don't have a time just yet or a station, but who you got winning this game?
Well, to me, it's going to come down to who is healthy and who is available to play. I will say this. If Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, to an extent, are healthy, I am going to actually go with Baltimore.
Really?
I think it's time. I think that they lost the first game 28-24. I know Baltimore's trending in the wrong direction. This just, to me, seems like this could be the game that gets Baltimore back on track. This could be the game that catapults Baltimore from middling, looking like they're about to be done, to back squarely in the top end of the playoffs, top end of the AFC teams. They need something to turn this season around, and I think this could be the game for them.
Look, one, as someone who covers the Chiefs, of course, we would want Baltimore to win this game, obviously, because that gives Kansas City a better chance of gaining home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The only problem is that Baltimore's going in the wrong direction, and Pittsburgh is going to come into this game pissed. One, it's the home game for them. But, again, it messes up their bye. They have yet to have a quote-unquote official bye week. They were forced into one when the Tennessee Titan game, when they had the outbreak on there. And so, so they were forced to play that game that particular week. No, they had to have their bye week that week, even though they wasn't planning on it. The NFL moved the game from there to when it was. And then now this week, again, not having a mini bye week after a Thursday night game is something, because like if you look at it, Seattle, they played last Thursday night. And instead of getting 10 days off, they actually get 11 days off because their next game is a Monday night game against the Eagles. So that's the team that's going to benefit from having actually a mini bye week, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are not. I like Pittsburgh in this game. From the looks of it, Pittsburgh has a good chance of going 16-0. That's going to be coming, that's going to be going underneath the radar until probably week 15 or 16, with the pressure on whether or not they can go 16-0. But I do like Pittsburgh in this game. I had Pittsburgh going into the game for tomorrow night, but I'm going to carry that over to Sunday. I think Pittsburgh is going to, they're going to play upset because, again, it kind of messes up their plans on trying to have a mini bye week. Next up, you got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Atlanta Falcons. How big do the Raiders bounce back against the Falcons in Sunday's game?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, honestly, they played Kansas City extremely, extremely well.
Too well for my case.
I mean, again, I think you and I agree there. And again, Derek Carr has actually looked very good this season. He's played his best 2 games against Kansas City. Sure, I'll give you that. But even outside of against Kansas City, he's played pretty well. The Atlanta Falcons defense is abysmal. That secondary is just terrible. I expect the Raiders and Derek Carr to just control this game.
Next up, we got the New York Football Giants at the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, Joe Burrow is going to be out for the next year or so. This is a winnable game for the New York Giants now.
Yeah, I'm going Giants. I mean, I think Brandon Allen, it just was announced that he's going to actually start instead of Finley for Cincinnati. Cincinnati has some weapons offensively, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. It doesn't matter, though. No quarterback in the NFL, you're going to struggle to struggle to score points. I like the Giants in this game. They have some offensive weapons of themselves, so I'm going New York Giants.
Going with the Giants as well. I think the Giants, knowing there's an outside chance they could, get in first place with the win. I know there will be some things that has to happen for them to take the lead, but they could, and like I said, I got the Giants winning this game. Next up, you got the Carolina Panthers, Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure what the status of Teddy Bridgewater is, whether or not he's going to play, but obviously the Vikings coming off of an embarrassing loss for them to the Dallas Cowboys this week. I think the Vikings bounce back, get the win at home against the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got to go with the Vikings in this one. I mean, Kirk Cousins is just, how up and down is he? It's like, if you are a Vikings fan, it's like riding a roller coaster all season, seeing what he's going to do. But, you got Dalvin Cook. Adam Thielen right now is questionable because of COVID. There's talk about it being a false positive. He tested positive, I believe, on Monday. He tested negative today. So they're still trying to figure out that situation. But I got to go with the Vikings in this one.
Now, this is a game that we saw Thursday Night Football just a couple of weeks ago. Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. Titans got the win last week in overtime over the Baltimore Ravens. Colts had their huge win against the Green Bay Packers at home last week. How does it shape out to you?
This one is tough. You probably have the most underappreciated team this year in the Indianapolis Colts going up against the most underappreciated quarterback in the NFL in Ryan Tannehill. I think this is a very good game. Both some pretty solid defensive teams, but I'm going to go with the Colts. I like their defense a lot. Their defense, I believe, is about the top-ranked defense in the NFL. Their offensive line is still extremely good. Phillip Rivers is taking care of the ball a little bit better than I expected, and he still has some weapons on that team. So I'm going Colts. They're trending in the right direction, and they look pretty dang good.
I'm actually buying into the Colts now. That's a team that I'm getting
it's
a little
tough, right?
Yeah, no. Well, it's. Because look, you got Phillip Rivers at the quarterback. And you know that he will make mistakes, but in the biggest games, he comes through. Now, granted, they should have lost the game last week against the Packers. I think the fumble in overtime killed their chances. So in that respects, I'll give the Packers a little bit of slack. But again, that offensive line, their defense is playing well. They're protecting Phillip Rivers. Again, Ryan Tannehill, not that type of quarterback matchup that you have, in Phillip Rivers against Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think he's going to do anything to really hurt the team. Now, a lot can be said, Tennessee Titans running the ball. If they can, if they can utilize Derrick Henry and not fall back, fall back behind like they did on the Thursday night game against the Colts, the Tennessee Titans could go on the road and upset them. Man, you know what? I'm going to go with the upset. I literally just picked the Colts. No, hold on. No, let me not pick with my heart. I got the Colts winning this game.
Yeah, it's tough.
I got the Colts winning this game.
It's very easy to make a case for either of these two teams. It really is, because they both have some very good aspects about them. They both have some weaknesses, obviously, because they're not the elite teams in the AFC, but they're just under those elite teams in the AFC. They're two very good teams. I mean, this may be one of the most fun games to watch on Sunday.
Well, and then not only that, you got to remember this is of course for playoff positioning and seeding, so to speak. Because these teams are both 4 and 5, so Tennessee needs to win this game just so they can have a split series, and then they'll be one up over the Colts. So, I mean, this is going to be, to me, the toughest game to decide on for Sunday. So, looking at this, let me see what's next. Let me pull back on my bets and stuff. That's the only way I can do this. Ooh, the Los Angeles Chargers against your Buffalo Bills. You're going to have Josh Allen, a quarterback matchup against Justin Herbert. Man, how you see this unfolding? Because I think a lot of points might get scored in this game.
A lot of points will be scored, and the Bills will come out with a victory. I mean, the Chargers, they struggle to close and win games. I'm sure this will be a close game where I'm sure the Chargers will have a chance. Somehow something will happen. It'll get blown. But you know me. I've been on the Bills trend for a long time, and that's going to continue here. All
right, next up, we got the Miami Dolphins at
who
the
do
New
you
York.
got? You didn't even say. Who do you got?
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that. I'm going to I want to go with the Chargers in an upset. However, I'm going to go with Buffalo in this game. I just think that, I think Buffalo, I think they were off last week. So because of the bye week, I think they got a chance to get better. I got Buffalo in this game. I don't think it's going to be much of an upset. Next up, Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets.
Dolphins. Anyone against the Jets, I'm going the other team. The Jets, I think, are going 0-16. They actually almost beat the Chargers last week after a ton of special teams miscues, which ended up in their special teams head coach or whoever it was, their special teams coach getting demoted. But again, Miami's looking pretty solid. Last week was confusing with the late benching of Tua. I couldn't tell if it was because of an injury. I couldn't tell if it was because of poor play.
They just said it was poor play. They said it was poor play. They said it's not going to be no quarterback controversy. He's coming back. He's starting the rest of the season. They just out of caution, he wasn't playing when they thought that if you put Fitzpatrick in there, he might be able to bring him back. But that's all that was. Yeah,
and I'm sure that's probably what it was. He just took a very big hit, and then all of a sudden he went out of the game, and that was very questionable. But, to me, if you're Miami, you threw the kid in there. Taking him out from a great learning experience only hinders his development. So hopefully they learn from that. But against the Jets, I'm going Miami big.
All right. New Orleans. I think I said, I got Miami in this game as well. I just think, I think Tua, this is one of those bounce back games that he needs to have. He needs to win. This is the game that if you're Tua, one, your stats need to look like an NFL stat line. I think he might have had that, the only stat line like that against the Arizona Cardinals, but he needs to have a game where he's got about 250 yards passing, 2 or 3 touchdowns in the game, obviously no interceptions, but he needs to have a complete game that looks like he can play at the NFL level. And if you can't do it against the New York Jets, you can't do it against anyone. So
do you think the Jets even score? There's a question. Miami's defense is very good. Does Miami score over 6 points?
Yes.
Over 6?
Yes, I think they can get 3 field goals. This ain't the 19. This ain't the 2000 Baltimore Ravens we talking about. So
I know, but that's how bad the Jets are.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I think I can't remember if they went over or under. I think I went under in this game. The New Orleans Saints at the Denver Broncos. Saints are a 6-point favorite. Who you got in this game?
Broncos, they got a good win last week. I think that was actually over the Dolphins. But I'm going with the Saints. They are my Super Bowl team from the NFC, looking a little better than your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we won't talk about that. No, the Saints, they look good. With Taysom Hill, again, it's probably going to work for another week or two. This wildcat, this, specialty offensive running. He did look a little better throwing the football than I expected, but they're just way too talented. You got to go with the Saints here.
I got the Saints. We'll see what Taysom Hill does. And I actually did have that Miami Dolphins Jets game over 44. I don't know why I did that, but no, we'll see. Maybe they'll win 39-10 or something.
Let's go Devontae Parker. For fantasy football reasons, let's go Devontae Parker.
With the Saints, look, but Drew Lock he's been impressive. The Saints, they did get off to a slow start last week. The Broncos, kind of like the Chargers, they've been hit and miss throughout the season. I think this game is going to be closer than what you picked it out to be. I do believe that they combine over 44 points. I do have the Saints winning this game. I'm not going to put a score to it, but I do think that they get an important win on the road to further separate themselves from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going to side with you on this. I might have to stand down as we get closer to the postseason, but until then, I am going to ride Chiefs, Bucks all the way through. Next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams coming off the big Monday night win against Tampa Bay. What say you?
Yeah, I got the Rams. Jared Goff looked pretty good. I mean, I tell you that Jared Goff looked really good. Jared Goff was hitting Robert Woods, who had 12 receptions. Cooper Kupp had 11. They've got a couple of tight ends to work with, and Everett, and I'm drawing a blank on the other fellow's name. They're a good team. This Rams offense, when it's rolling the correct way, when McVay and Goff are on the same page, I'm not a huge Goff guy, but when him and McVay are on the same page and he's using all these short passes, these screens, and they look good. It looks like the team that went to the Super Bowl that year. So I'm going with the Rams. They look like they are back.
All right. And then, of course, closing out, we got Chiefs, Bucks. I know we both got Kansas City.
Well, who do you got? You didn't even say yours again, Darren. You're over here. You're trying the easy way out, huh?
Yeah, I really was. No, seriously, I got the Rams win this.
Okay.
I think, they're 7-point favorites. I am not playing on this one. Because it's a division game, I'm not going to mess around and try to go with the spread. I got the Rams winning straight out in this game. I don't think it's close by any means, but you never know. I mean, I didn't think Chiefs Raiders were going to be close, but now we see that they got a little rival going on. 49ers, look, I think they just have too many injuries, for the season thus far. That the talent that they have, I think the Rams have number one, number two defense. They'll be able to get after the quarterback. I think after a quiet game last week against the Bucs from Aaron Donald, I think he gets at least 3 sacks in Sunday's game against the 49ers. So I like the Rams big in this game. I think combined they get over 45 points. I do believe the 49ers score a few points, but not enough. Actually, now that I think about it, nope, I'm going to go under 45 points with this team because of the defense of the Los Angeles Rams. So, Sterling, that's going to do it. I know we'll be back Monday, so we'll talk about the Seahawks-Eagles game. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll finish out the show, talk about Thanksgiving and what to expect. Keep it locked in. Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
Big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, this is Nate Bukaty. Big points mean big savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and score fuel saver discounts equal to the number of points the Chiefs score and the amount you spend. Cheer on the Chiefs and watch your fuel discount grow with every point they score. Get out your Fuel Saver Plus Perks card and score the savings the day after every Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Discount offer with qualifying purchase only. Fuel savings limited to 20 gallons. Some restrictions apply. See store for details. Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, are you hosting a game day watch party? Save time and impress guests with the Hy-Vee home gate packs. Take home tailgating with all the variety you are searching for. From Kansas City barbecue to all your favorite appetizers, pizza and wings, or even a taco bar. Stop by your local Hy-Vee today to browse all the Hy-Vee home gate meal pack options for your next watch party. Home gating, made easy by Hy-Vee.
Happy holidays from Barrozo's, folks. We'll be open for Thanksgiving from 11 to 6. We'll be serving our regular dinner menu as well as a plated Thanksgiving dinner meal. We also will have our curbside available. This includes salad, turkey, dressing, mashed potatoes, cranberries, green bean casserole, and I mean plenty of it. It's a great feast starting at just $36 for two. Visit our website at garozos.com for full details.
I'm Joel Clark, a SelectQuote advisor, and we are hiring in Kansas City. I've been with SelectQuote for over 17 years, and I can tell you, coming to SelectQuote was the best decision I ever made. The earning potential here is real. I have personally made over $250,000 year in and year out. Invest in your future and give us a call now. 1-833-HIRING-1. That is 1-833-447-4641. Or check us out online at SelectQuoteCareer.com. I guarantee you won't regret it.
Did you know on average, people only review their insurance plans once every 4 years? Hi, this is Corey Schnabel, owner of Casey Insurance Group. Call Casey Insurance Group today at 913-396-6320 for a no-obligation review of your current policy. If your current policy is the best fit for you, we'll tell you. If not, we'll save you some money with a tailored proposal from one of the best carriers in Kansas City. It's truly a win-win. Casey Insurance Group voted 2019's best agency by Pitch Magazine. 913-396-6320 or visit us online at caseyinsured.com.
Oh, yeah. Baby. Welcome back to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM, along with the vacationing Sterling home. Sterling, what are the Thanksgiving plans for tomorrow?
So I think I'm still just deciding what I'm supposed to bring to, the family Thanksgiving right now. My girlfriend and I are trying to decide if we're going to make a pie, if we're going to make some mac and cheese. But I'm looking forward to it because all it means for me, I'm going to eat a whole bunch of pumpkin pie. I'm going to eat a whole bunch of key lime pie, and that's pretty much it. And a whole bunch of potatoes.
Nice. Well, the big thing.
What about you?
I know we're going to eat at the house. I know my mom is cooking, so I'm definitely going to go by there and eat over there and bring it to go box as well. Actually, she might have some for me. So I'm going to eat probably 2 or 3 times tomorrow. With no football on tomorrow night, I'll probably continue binge watching an old TV show called The Unit with the guy who, with the Allstate commercial guy. So I'm going to be watching that tonight and tomorrow. Literally, don't judge me, dude.
No, I'm not. I'm just honestly upset that the Ravens couldn't handle themselves because, it sucks. No, Thanksgiving night football. It's sad. I'm a little upset with him. I'm almost as upset as the Steelers players are, I think.
Yeah, obviously, first time since 2005 that there's not a Thursday night football, Thanksgiving game on at night. So, no, I'm with you. I'm definitely upset. That's why I have to find something else to do. There's no plaza lighting. If so, I guess it'll just be done virtually. So, I mean, there's not a lot to do here in Kansas City, after you get to eating and stuff like that. So I guess just chilling around with the family and stuff like that, it will be worth doing. Came out today, Alabama coach Nick Saban tested positive for COVID-19 and will not coach Saturday's game against Auburn. The last time he tested positive, it was a false positive. This time, though, he is symptomatic and he is showing very mild symptoms. Your thoughts on that and the fact that he will not be on the sideline Saturday?
Yeah, actually, I thought he already missed a game this year because of COVID, just a false positive. I thought he had to zoom in or something like that for the game early on this year.
He missed practice, but he was able to coach.
So it's just practice, okay. It sucks. I mean, you hope for the best for Nick Saban. I hope he feels better. I hope that he gets over this, especially at his age. It's going to happen. It's college football at this point. College football, they're not handling COVID extremely well. There's outbreaks, it seems like. There's a ton of games pushed back. And, I'm a huge Mizzou guy. What's going on with Mizzou football? Yeah. That's just one team because of all the outbreaks, because of all the scheduling, because of the SEC. It's very difficult to ascertain what's going on in just one team, but not just even one conference, but NCAA as a whole. I don't think they've done a very good job.
The college football playoff rankings was released on the 24th. Top 4 teams: Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State. Your thoughts on the top 4?
I have no problems with it. I mean, this is about the top 4 teams. Typically, as you finish Notre Dame in there instead of Oklahoma, and this is about what it's been the past 6 years. I have no problems with it. I've been hearing a whole bunch of outrage about BYU. I'm going to check into that a little bit more. But what are your thoughts on these top 4 teams?
I mean, nothing, just another day in college football, really, because it's the same teams. Really? Yes, especially with Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State. Those are the teams that you expect to see in the polls every year. And then, of course, with the addition of Notre Dame, every blue moon appearance. So, yeah, I'm not surprised whatsoever about that. Before we get out of here, Sterling, the Indianapolis won't host the NBA All-Star Game in 2021. They're rescheduled to host it in 2024. I know this is disappointing for you, disappointing for me because my sister lives there, so I can't go there. But your thoughts? We got about 30 seconds left.
Well, I'm sad. I would have loved to go, and I have family in Southern Indiana, so I would have probably had a good chance to go see it. Now I can't. So to be honest, I'm a little sad. All
right. Look, Sterling, I wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving, safe travels on your way back. We'll see you back in studio on Monday. People on the sound of my voice, I want to thank you all for tuning in and spending some of your pre-holiday with myself, Sterling, and along with Mr. Steve Walls. You all have a safe, happy Thanksgiving. Please social distance, wear a mask, and try not to be in congregations of more than 10. Until Monday, this is Darren for Darren and Sterling here on the ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. Have a blessed and safe holiday.